Mom, Emily.
I'm bored.
Well, I got this flute from the AHS-TV Foundation.
Well, that's cool. I wish I got one.
Well, maybe they'll donate you one.
That'd be awesome. Thanks.
Education Today starts now!
What fields will you attach naming rights to? Where may some of these bricks memorials be located at on the new school campus?
There's been some discussion about where to locate the bricks at. There's a possibility that they'll make up. When you walk into the stadium, the idea is there might be like a little courtyard there, either on the outside or the inside of that stadium. So the potential is there might be like a brick wall that stands alone from everything with names on it. The bricks may be incorporated into the ground, the sidewalk that's built. They may be incorporated into walls that make up the stadium, the grandstand in the stadium itself. None of that is set in stone yet. As far as naming rights, like I said, you'll have the soccer field, the football field and stadium, the softball field, baseball field, tennis courts. We're also selling naming rights. There's 2 gyms, a junior high and a high school gym. The high school gym is a college regulation size gym, so that's large, and both of those gyms will have naming rights attached to them. I believe the auditorium is involved in that. The weight room is involved in that. Even though it's within the same building, it'll still have its own naming right. I believe we're selling naming rights possibly for the track. Music rooms, shop classrooms, and there might be a few others that are listed on there.
Is there a certain amount of dollars you're looking for naming rights or bricks or et cetera?
Like I mentioned, we have a breakdown scale, a tree of what we're looking for. As it stands right now, the football stadium would be, I think, $2 million, and it steps down from there, down the whole way down to $10,000. So there are certain prices we're looking for, but as I said, we'll see what comes in, and as we talk to different donors, as the money, as they decide to donate, we'll talk to them about what they are interested in, and see if we can make something else happen, or maybe even shorten the commitment term. If on the football stadium, for example, if they want to donate $1 million, we might, instead of being forever, it might be like 25 years or something like that. That's a possibility. The bricks we haven't set a price on yet. That's again one of those things we're looking at. We haven't set prices on advertising. We have had some companies that have asked us about donating money, but basically they're buying advertising space that would go probably along the fences, or a lot of football stadiums you'll see it around the scoreboards or something like that. So those are other possibilities that we haven't exactly assigned price values to yet.
How can people get in touch with you to make contributions or donations for this project?
My direct line number is 724-543-4800. That's the easiest way if you have questions. That's a direct line into my office. Since I do serve as the multimedia technician for the district as well, you may, don't be confused by that. My office is in Catania Junior High, but I serve in both capacities, but I have one voicemail box set up for both. So if you leave me messages, I normally return them very promptly. And I'm normally available typical hours, 8 to 7:30, 3:30, 8 to 4. Sometimes I'm in here a little earlier, a little later, depending on what I have going on. You can email me as well, cgaretano@asd.k12.pa.us. We'll put that graphic up here on the bottom of the screen. You may be seeing it now. And those are the 2 best ways to get a hold of me. Again, our mailing address is P.O. Box 961, Catania, PA 16201. And that post office, fortunately, is right across the street from this building, so I check that quite frequently. And those are the primary ways to get a hold of me. But anybody who served, I mentioned the names that are on the foundation. You can speak to any of them. We're all informed of this, and if we can't answer a question for you, then we'll get the answers. Our point people on this project are Clem Rosenberger and Kirk Lorigan. So those are the two primary guys.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about this particular initiative?
I think I'm just going to appeal to the community. We need to raise a lot of money yet. I know that there's different perceptions out there and different opinions about the project and how it should be funded and where it's going to be funded from and things of that nature. But I'm here to tell you the money, we need to get the money. The money as of right now is not there. This would be a huge lift, I believe, off the taxpayers, that the district wouldn't have to consider anything else, I don't think, for funding the project. And this would be a really nice thing. Again, it's a big way for the community to give directly back into enhancing its own community. This is a district that's pretty large. I believe bringing this building in is going to open up some more avenues. You see development in this out on the outskirts of the area. And I believe that's something that could come in further, especially if we get these facilities built and you start getting the opportunity to host district and state playoff events. The gym is going to be by far big enough and nice enough to do that. The football stadium, the same goal applies. And that's going to bring money into the area too, because you're going to have a lot of people coming in for these events, and they're going to want places to get something to eat quickly or whatever. So I just appeal to the community to think about it. No donation is too small, and we appreciate any help that anybody will be able to give us.
All right, finally, before we take a break, and again for our viewers, what are some of the deadlines that you're hoping to reach during this process?
Just like I said, we're in a crunch now. Within the next month, so mid-November, there's going to have to be final decisions made as far as what we're looking at for the 15-16 school year. Like I said, we're not going to stop raising money if we don't reach that deadline, that goal of raising enough money to be able to move forward with the project. We're going to keep trying. If we raise just enough to move forward with it, and then we're going to have continued bills, obviously, we're going to continue to raise money until the project's funded and taken care of.
And when we come back, we will discuss what EITC dollars are and what it means for businesses to donate to the AHS-TV Foundation.
Hello, I'm Cindy McCrae, Director of Ark Manor Addiction Recovery Center. Ark Manor is committed to confidential quality services 24 hours a day, including fully licensed residential, partial hospital, and outpatient treatment programs. With 39 years of experience in addiction treatment, Ark Manor puts an emphasis on the needs of special populations including women, co-occurring disorders, and adolescents. For more information, call 724-548-7607 or 800-323-1333. Brought to you by the Armstrong, Indiana Drug-Free Communities Coalition.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name is Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
Vince Mercuri, Executive Director of the Open Door. Worried, scared, confused, not sure where to turn for help? The Open Door, a behavioral health organization, has a full range of addiction counseling services and mental health crisis intervention services which may be able to help. Call 724-465-2605 or 1-877-333-2470. The Open Door, steps towards hope, courage, and recovery. Brought to you by the Armstrong, Indiana Drug-Free Communities Coalition.
We are back with Education Today, and now we are going to briefly cover what EITC dollars are and how they've helped the AHS-TV Foundation. Earlier we mentioned another source of money that the foundation has available to it. Could you speak about EITC money and what it is and how it's used?
Yeah, like I mentioned, it's called EITC, stands for Educational Improvement Tax Credits. Those are available to companies, organizations, that donate that money, what they can do is there's a specific list statewide that you can get on the internet. It's listed there. You can choose anybody off of that list. We've been fortunate enough to be approved to be on that for the last several years now. But it's a big tax write-off. I think companies need to give, donate so much, or have some kind of giving each year during each of their fiscal years. So we have been fortunate over the years. A couple of different companies have given us money through EITC programs to fund things. GenOn, for example, they were the primary funder through EITC for the WeatherBug setup at West Shamokin a few years back. And there are other companies too. I don't want to miss anybody. F&M's a big one. They give us a nice size amount of money every year. Northwest has given us money in the past. A couple other companies have as well. I think EQT is involved in that. So, but yeah, I mean, but the money is specific. Has to be specifically used in certain ways outlined by the state.
To take one step away for a minute from EITC, for businesses interested in donating, and does donating to a nonprofit such as AHS-TV Foundation mean for them?
What it means for them, like I've mentioned throughout the course of the show, is that it's a tax write-off for them. It's also a peace of mind knowing that you're putting money back in your own community. Everything that we do, like I said, benefits specifically the Armstrong School District, and not just one building, all of the buildings in the district. Over the years, all of our programs have reached into every single building that's here, which is nice. And we've had a lot of teachers and several thousand students and monies, different monies that have been allocated. So what it means for them is that they have, it's like a peace of mind in the tax write-off. So we are a nonprofit. That's always one thing to keep in mind. And that's, I guess, that's pretty much what they could expect out of it.
What has having this money available to the AHS-TV Foundation done?
Well, as I mentioned, the big one was the WeatherBug. That was several $1,000s to put that in. The other thing it's allowed us to fund is the iPad carts that we put in each of our buildings. And think about how many primary buildings are in this district, and all but 2 have these iPad carts now. And by the end of this school year, or by the fall of next school year, the intention will be that all of the primary buildings will have them. The other thing too is it helped fund the robotics course that the district started a couple of years ago. It was to supplement the startup for that course. It was expensive to get it going, and we were able to provide a good chunk of money through EITC for that. So,
is there a certain process in the spending of this money that you have to follow?
Yeah, the money has to be spent in very specific terms. We have to keep track of all the money that we receive, who we pay that money out to, and how it's being spent. So we have to have actual line items of each piece of equipment or each article that's been purchased with that money. Typically, and an easiest way to put it is if it's something, it normally is involved and centers around technology-related items. But basically, if it's something that a district would normally be able to provide, or you could just go to Walmart and purchase, it typically will not fall under those EITC guidelines. We've been able to fund several grants through EITC money, which has opened up monies to fund other grants that otherwise wouldn't have been able to be funded. So that's a big benefit of having it. And just a simple example, if we had a teacher write a grant for graphing calculators, those are things that not necessarily are provided by the district all the time, but you could go to Walmart and purchase. Another example of something that would be funded is the virtual set editor that I mentioned earlier in the show for the TV studio at West Shamokin that they use for morning announcements and other projects. That was funded through EITC money because it's not something that you can simply purchase at Walmart, and it's not something that would normally be purchased under the ordinary school budget. So,
quickly, can you tell us more about the Do-Re-Mi program? Yeah,
like I said, Do-Re-Mi, donated refurbished musical instruments. Currently, we have nearly 60 instruments that are out in the school district. Yeah. Typically, they're given to, most of our applicants are in 4th or 5th grade at our different primary buildings. We have flutes, clarinets, altos, and tenor saxes, trumpets, trombones that are all currently being used. We have a cornet, which is basically just a compact trumpet that is being issued this year, actually. And we actually have a French horn back there as well right now. We have instruments, like I said, we take instruments in that are donated from anybody. Again, we give a form back, Murphy's Music. We work very closely with them. They're very gracious enough to come pick up our instruments that are being returned to us, either donated or returned by students who have used them in the past. They clean them, make sure that they're playable. As long as there aren't any major repairs, they normally take care of all of that and then deliver them back to us. And then if you donate an instrument, they evaluate it and give a cost estimate on what the instrument's worth. They mail that from their offices, from their building. They mail that to whoever donated it, and then they can again use that form as a tax write-off because it's a donation, again, to a nonprofit. And normally those instruments, for those who don't know, new instrument can range anywhere from $800 to well over $1,000, depending on the brand and the type of instrument you're purchasing. So this is a good program that gets these instruments into kids' hands who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford to have them.
What are the future hopes and dreams of the AHS-TV Foundation?
Well, in the immediate future is to finish the iPad card initiatives and get those to the primary buildings, to continue to help fund programs that the district is trying to put in for the benefit of the students that otherwise may not get funded, such as the robotics course. A new one coming up is STEAM Art, it's called, and that's kind of related. The EITC is kind of related to STEM, which is a technology-driven initiative. And then, of course, completing our capital campaign, getting enough money raised to get the capital campaign completed. Those are the primary in the front of our minds right now, trying to get taken care of. From there, anything that we can fund to help supplement the current classrooms or to add something new and innovative to the classroom that the schools otherwise wouldn't be able to afford or couldn't purchase in a certain year. Those make up pretty much the goals of our foundation.
If there's anything else you'd like to add for the benefit of our viewers, maybe total grants awarded to me.
Yeah, I mean, since the inception of the foundation, we've now put in close to $170,000 to $180,000, I think, is what we put into educator grants. That includes EIT. That doesn't, I don't believe, include the EITC. What we've done with that, close to, if not, I think close to 25,000 students over the years have been affected by those. But that's just the initial, because we do have grants. Like I said, we look for self-sustaining grants. And when teachers apply for grants, part of it is telling us how many students are going to benefit from it. Well, say 100 students are going to benefit from it this year. Well, those students are going to move on. They're going to have new students next year, and the grant is self-sustaining. You got another 100 students. So we have approximately 25,000 students who have been affected immediately by the grants. But in the continuing years of those grants, could easily be 3 times that number over the course of the years that have benefited from them. So, I mean, I would venture to guess that since the foundation started and this program was initiated, I'd venture to guess that shy of $200,000 has probably benefited well over 100,000 students in the district, which is great. They're coming into this school year. Since we just awarded grants again, I think we've awarded, on top of what I mentioned, probably another $25,000 to $30,000, I believe, in grants, both EITC and regular funded grants. And that money does not include the approximately $18,000 to $20,000 it costs for each of those iPad cards. And like I said, we put all but 2 primary buildings have those now, so that's well over $100,000 that have been put into iPad carts as well. So, and like I said, we have Elderton Elementary got their iPad cart this year, and I believe Shannock and West Hills Primary are the next 2 in that order, hopefully in the spring, if not in the fall.
Well, that's our show for tonight. Every year, the AHS-TV Foundation gives our students more and more reasons to look forward to going to school so they can take advantage of these great opportunities. I'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Chris Caratano of the AHS-TV Foundation, for being on the show. I'd also like to thank all the foundation's donors individuals, retired and current teachers, companies big and small, because the AHS-TV Foundation lives by donations. And we also need to thank our film crew. Today we had Ford City High School students led by teacher Mrs. Catherine Gibbon. Please join us again next week for another look at Armstrong School District. DVD copies of this and all Education Day programming can be requested by contacting myself, Chris Garatano of Catania Junior High, or visit our website for updated news and information about the district. Have a great week. The AHS-TV Foundation relies on donations, which are then given back to students for expanded educational opportunities. If you would like to give, call the AHS-TV Foundation at 724-543-4800, or mail us a check made payable to the AHS-TV Foundation, and mail it to the AHS-TV Foundation at P.O. Box 961, Catania, Pennsylvania 16201. It's a registered 501c3 nonprofit organization, and all donations are tax deductible. You can also visit our website and donate online at www.asd.k12.pa.us/ASD Foundation. Thanks for your support.